There's scenes here at Perry Park.
Chris Lynn has taken the wild thing and sent him.
Oh, Bateman! Wow! Yes!
Welcome, faithful, to episode 51 of the Beyond the Sidelines podcast, nearing that 1 year mark, of course. My name is Finn, and joining me in studio, once again, you've heard it all before, Campbell, Angus, boys, welcome. How are we?
Good, mate. I'm good. Thanks for that glorious introduction. I really appreciated that.
Yeah, very nice, very nice. I am good as well.
I am good.
I am
Brother,
good as well.
Brother Finn, I
Brother
am good.
Finn.
Brother
That's
Finn,
a
I am good.
throwback.
Yeah, that is.
That is a very big. I
Yeah,
forgot
no,
about
but
that.
you mentioned it, and getting towards a year of doing it. It is absolutely flown, honestly,
Oh,
boys.
it's felt like a year. I'll tell you
Well,
what.
oh, really?
You too. I'll tell you
That's
what.
what they say about
Oh.
having fun, Gusman.
Yeah,
It flies.
Yeah,
It flies, and this
time
is
flies when
evident
you're
of
having
that.
fun.
We have done more than 51 or 52
Yes, we
episodes, of
have.
course, so I guess we can kind of, raise the bat for the half century, kind of,
I wonder how many minutes we've spent in this room.
for the 1 year.
Too many.
I mean,
Too
most
many.
episodes are like an hour.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but look,
So times that by 50. Quick maths.
yeah, you're asking the wrong guy here.
No,
Right, 50.
wouldn't have a clue.
Whoa,
wouldn't-
wait, do
wouldn't have
better.
I'd be like
Divided by 60.
over 4,000, I
times by
reckon,
60.
hours. Over
Yeah, we all did
4,000
maths, all
hours.
right, boys. So
Yeah,
let's move on
there
as
you
quick
go.
as we can.
Sorry for putting you on.
I will,
spot there, boy.
I will say, now when we come into studio, we tend to plan for maybe 20 minutes
Yeah,
before we start,
We-
and then we crack on,
yeah.
And
We
we-
used to.
and we put on a show. We used to spend hours.
Yeah, I remember the first episode. So if you haven't listened to it yet, we interviewed Fraser McWright at Brothers, and then we went back to my house. We were sitting in my living room, and we kept doing the intro. We'd be like, "This is the first time we do," and we'd be like, "Welcome to the first episode of the Beyond the Sidelines
Of
podcast."
course, we had higher voices back
Yeah,
then.
exactly. A whole year, my balls have dropped since then. But we'd be like, "Oh yeah, welcome back to the," and we'd be like, "No, I don't like it." And we did we recorded the intro it was a 10-minute intro. We were being strict on it, and because we used to do 10 minutes on either side, pretty much. And we did we'd throw away. We'd be like, "No, I didn't like how we did this. Or this got the score wrong here," because we used to do
exactly.
the scores
Scores.
from the previous
Mate,
week
we
and
were-
the upcoming games.
We were a bulletin.
We were a bulletin.
we?
Yeah.
We were a
We have
bulletin, scores
we have
bulletin.
sort of adapted over time. It's more of a podcast now, more of a chat
Yeah.
rather than just telling the scores. Like
You
it
could
used to be.
argue, Gus, but I'm going to lean in for, pure,
I'll lean
you know,
give me a second. Oh,
intimacy of
Sorry,
nostalgia
can you
here.
come in closer? Can't
Yeah,
hear you.
sorry. There we go.
Okay.
There we go, mate.
I'm distancing.
All right.
Or someone's looking at my cakes on the TV.
We've grown.
We've grown.
And we're still not very good at what
No,
we do, to
no.
be fair.
Very
Anyway,
amateur.
We've
very
grown.
amateur.
At best.
Yeah, no.
We've grown after you just said that.
Oh,
God.
Okay.
Oh, my days. All right, anyway.
It's big
Moving
news,
on.
though, boys.
Yeah, so,
big
well,
news this week.
I mean,
yeah,
this is...
or not so big.
No, it's quite disappointing, I think, in a sense, Gusman. The fact that you didn't know that
Didn't
Super
even
Rugby
know.
was starting a few weeks ago.
I
And to
didn't
be
know
honest,
I didn't know this either.
I thought that was a bit weird because I had seen enough of it that it was coming up. But I'm a rugby tragic. CJ.
Yeah, I'd still seen some, but I hadn't seen enough.
And you haven't seen anything. I haven't
I
seen
haven't seen
anything.
any
Gusman
promotion.
hasn't seen anything. So just to sum up, all of the trio haven't seen anything about the High Under A-League starting on Friday. So by the time this podcast comes out, Sydney FC and the Wellington Phoenix will be on their way to, play their match to resume the season.
Yeah.
It's absolutely ridiculous. What
Yeah,
are these?
I
what
have
are
not
these-
seen any promotion for the Hyundai A-League starting.
Hyundai
Hyundai
A-League.
A-League. I
Is
had
it-
something stuck in my
Is
back
it still
of
the
my throat there.
Hyundai A-League? I thought they lost
That's
their
next
rights.
season.
It is, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Enjoy
So they're
it while
not
you
renewing
can.
their bid.
Yeah.
Hyundai.
Best league in world football.
Exactly.
Oh,
Who's
exactly.
going to take the sponsorship after them?
Optus.
Jim's mowing.
Yeah, Optus.
Optus.
Jim's mowing. I would.
Jim's
rock
mowing
that.
A-League.
And they just,
Lovely.
you know how you have in the pitch, you have the shapes cut out.
Yeah.
You just got a big Jim's mowing cut out in
And
the
it's
middle of the
so
pitch.
much better because you know who cut it.
Exactly. You go,
Jim.
I wonder who's the groundskeeper here.
Jim.
It's like if Cricket Australia was to be, sponsored by Jim's mowing. Who did the wicket? Who's the groundskeeper here? It's not Gary Lyon. It's Jim's mowing.
Jim's mowing.
Jim's mowing.
Look, I don't understand. Why don't the A-League just copy and paste the Premier League? It
Yeah.
obviously works so well. It's the most popular league in the world.
Do you mean the structure?
The everything. The
No, it means the
structure,
players,
how
teams,
everyone's
yeah.
how everyone's paid. Or I don't like.
Whoa.
Mate, I don't think
No, as-
I don't think the Wellington Phoenix can afford to pay De Villa.
No,
Yeah.
I
And
understand.
I don't really think if they can't pay for any advertising for their league.
I understand that.
Shallow pockets.
What I mean is more leeway for clubs.
Jeez, Finn, mate, put your
Pretty-
phone on silent.
Pretty
It
popular.
is. That
mate.
wasn't me.
Oh,
Yeah. That wasn't me, mate. I think it's you.
It's not mine. Mine doesn't make that noise.
Mine's on silent.
So is mine.
Well, it's got to be one of us.
So who's got a fourth phone here? Who's got an extra phone?
Again,
Look, that's how unpopular I am.
There's one there.
I got one Instagram message, and that was a Facebook thing.
I've got one Discord message.
to be fair, mate, I told you last week, since COVID, I'm a different beast socially, and I need a second phone because
really?
my phone simply can't, doesn't have the memory
Yeah, mine doesn't have
capacity
the RAM for it.
to, welcome
Speaking
all
of
my
that, I've
text
got to take a
messages.
business call.
Sorry.
No, let's
and
not-
and
back
as
on
I was saying, pretty much just copy and paste the Premier League to the A-League. Same sort of structure, competition structure, how everyone's paid. I know it's not going to be the same, but give clubs more.
Give them more
I reckon
leeway.
cut the salary cap.
I think cut the salary cap as well.
Bring more international players over.
But I think you still need to have a quota, like the Premier League does, of homegrown players.
Yeah, exactly.
I think the difficulty in the A-League when it comes to no salary cap is the fact that teams such as Melbourne City, I think, would just rise above and
that's
absolutely
fine.
dominate.
Honestly, I think that's fine.
No, it's not, because I
Because
think
then you don't have a competitive
what
league.
every
But is it really that competitive in the Premier League?
What a league!
I know there's some
it
teams
is.
that pop up, but it's
Yes.
usually the same six that.
in
are
the top
there
eight.
every year.
Think of Leicester. Leicester
That's a
and
1 in a million, but
Yeah, but-
there's so many that top
Sheffield the
six.
sixth.
Yeah.
Yes.
I think Melbourne City would dominate the A-League.
I think Sydney FC would be up there as well, and
Yeah,
I think
in
the
terms of
Brisbane Roar would
money-wise,
have a bit of money as well.
It would interest foreign backers, I think, to come in and go, I can have more of an influence
Yeah, exactly.
and really transform this competition and this club. But again, it's such a fine line and it's dangerous,
Yeah.
Gusman. It's a risk for the FFA to
Well,
take.
I mean, you still have
because-
financial fair play laws as well, so it's not as though they're just going to pump millions and millions of dollars into
I think
Melbourne City.
See, I think
There'll still be regulations around how much can be spent, I assume, because that's the goal in the
Financial
Premier
fair
League.
play would not,
But
that wouldn't make a difference in Australia. You couldn't do that.
I mean, it doesn't really make a difference.
Because the way financial fair play works is that you can only spend what you make, essentially.
Yeah.
So that's why Manchester United have like 1 million sponsorships with they had a tractor business that was sponsoring them. Like John Deere, so it's not really going to make a difference in Australia where the clubs aren't actually making that much money.
Yeah,
no.
That's the problem.
In general, what I'm trying to say is pretty much just go off the Premier League formula. It seems to
you
work.
need to take aspects from it.
Yeah,
I think
It needs a reshuffle.
I appreciate what you're saying, Gusman.
Yeah.
I really do. But I'm going to contradict what you say and propose a different competition that the A-League should copy or mimic, so to speak, and that's the MLS. Now, that's a very similar market, obviously, America to Australia. America is the be-all of all sport in the world, isn't it? It is the place for sport. The 4 major sports over there, their revenue is just in the billions, easily.
Yeah.
It's absolutely insane. But how they've got, I'm not necessarily saying conferences, but how they incorporate new teams and, desire to, welcome expansion teams often. Every 2 or 3 years, there's a new team.
Yeah.
I think Cincinnati were brought in last year.
Atlanta United was a few years ago, and they were incredible. The marketing there is fantastic.
LA
Everything
United,
about them is
isn't
great. LA United.
Will Ferrell. He's an owner.
Yep. David Beckham has Miami, I think.
Yeah, they're coming in next year, I want to say. So
into Miami.
Yeah, there was
God.
a new.
Yeah.
Was there a New Orleans team that was brought in, or no? There was an Orlando team which had Kaká for a year.
Yeah.
But no, I think you're right, and they also have a draft, which is quite interesting.
Yeah.
Gets a bit of
For
excitement.
football,
Yeah.
that kind of because
Does-
I think we mentioned this a couple of weeks ago whether
Months
it'd
ago.
work,
Yeah.
and it seemed it's a bit of a confusing concept to get your head around.
It is.
Well, it worked in the same way as the
yeah.
AFL does.
Yeah. Do they have Then how does loaning? Because I know football they do a lot of loaning and stuff.
so
Would
it's
they
a-
just get rid of that?
It's
No, you
only
can keep that.
it's the initial contract.
Yeah.
So it's
okay.
Campbell's coming out of high school and the Brisbane Roar
I've been
finally
wanting to hear this for my whole life.
and with the first
From the third 11
Exactly.
CDM, Campbell Johnson,
the way he
at
controlled
5'8" at a best.
the way he controlled the third 11
I've got good touch.
football team was absolutely
Engine room, mate.
At pick
elite.
number 3,000.
We're really
Yes.
bottom of the barrel here, gents.
Yeah, exactly.
No, but
Taking a
again,
punt.
it's I think that initial contract of you come to us, and then whoever signs Campbell can still go. Okay, you would get more minutes playing at this club. Go play for the Brisbane Strikers. Go play for.
Oh, that'd be cool.
It's
I
like
like that.
one day, pal.
I like
You're
that.
only 20. There's plenty of time.
I've still got years
Plenty
in
of gas in the
Still
tank.
got years in
Yeah.
there.
But I mean, we can definitely say that the A-League needs changes.
It needs a reshuffle.
It does, mate. And I think this is something that everyone's been talking about for years. Now, it's nothing new to say that the A-League has been lacking something Now, I guess as Brisneylanders, there you go.
Brisneylanders,
That's a
bring it
callback.
back.
We didn't mention that off air.
Yes.
Now, Brisneyland is something that I so famously professed about, I want to say, 20 weeks ago.
Oh, maybe
Something
more.
like that, exactly.
Yeah.
Put it on a T-shirt. That's another phrase that you might remember Campbell
That was
muttering.
mine, yeah.
But basically, Brisneylanders, as we are.
Jack Pack is another one.
That was
yours.
I think that's the best.
You know,
honestly.
in our Facebook
Yeah.
group, you're the only one with a nickname.
Yeah.
And that's Jack
Oh
Pack.
my God, is it actually?
I didn't even know
I didn't
that.
realize
I
that.
didn't even
well,
know
our
that.
whole Facebook group is the Jack Pack Tower.
Yeah.
So that's what
God,
we are.
we're
It's just
popular.
so memorable, and that's from episode 1. God,
Yeah,
that's
Fraser
a year
McRae.
ago.
I think we need to sit down and have a live streaming of us listening back.
Oh,
to that
God,
podcast.
That would be like
Can I-
nails on chalkboard.
Can I
mate.
not attend? Jeez.
No, okay. So getting
Yes.
distracted here. As Brisneylanders, I think the A-League really peaked when the Raw was successful.
Yeah.
And I remember going to the grand final to watch the Raw play the Western Sydney Wanderers. Jason Derulo performed before the match.
What?
He had
Jason
he had the
Derulo.
worst thing I've ever seen in football, gents, and I'm sure you can agree.
I know where it's
That's a
going.
half and half shirt.
Yeah.
You can go half and half scarf because that's
still bad.
That's memorabilia.
No,
yeah,
it's-
that's
it's still
memorabilia.
bad, but it's
half
not
and
as
half
bad.
jersey. That's
That's
mate,
a crime.
you can't have
Yeah, you can't do that.
you can't have a foot in both camps. That's what I'm
No.
trying to say. But basically, Suncorp was packed.
Mm.
Absolutely, Gusman, packed to
Pumping.
the rafters.
Mm.
Since
Great TV show.
great
Yeah.
TV show.
Yeah.
The ending. I'm kidding. I
it's
couldn't
not-
tell you
I
how it
didn't-
ends.
No, me neither.
Couldn't tell you how it ends. I just remember seeing it on the ads when I used to watch Sunrise every morning.
Exactly.
Anyway, we're getting
You're getting off
distracted.
Watching Koshi again. Keep getting up. Koshi.
Absolutely marvelous, man. But basically, gents, the A-League has been dying for years. I think Sydney FC, partly because of their dominance.
Yeah.
And this is it comes back to the draft and the need for a draft because we need to see this talent dispersed.
Yeah.
Because Sydney FC, far too dominant.
Yeah.
They make it look too easy. Melbourne Victory normally do.
Mm.
And it's
Having
been
a
a
shocking-
good thing for the
yeah.
league that they won't be in the picture come finals.
Mm.
Yeah. I still think they can. Can they?
They can still
they
make it, I
technically
think.
make it?
Yeah, they haven't been having as bad. They had a bad
Anyone
start.
can technically make it. Still,
Yeah,
it's,
that's
it's
it.
a top 6 out of 9 teams. So
Yeah, exactly.
I think it's Wellington's to lose.
Mm.
No.
yeah.
No, but anyway, I think the A-League needs a revival, and first and foremost, akin to Rugby Australia, what they've both been doing is not advertising,
Yeah,
Not
the
dri-
marketing pigeons at both of those.
not
companies.
driving people to these games, CJ, and I think it's on Saturday or something.
Mm.
The Raw host Adelaide at Seabus on the Gold Coast.
Mm.
Ooh.
I only saw that because the Raw posted about it. Fair play, they've done enough.
Yeah, 100%.
Nice people there. And but basically, the A-League have done nothing.
Yeah.
There's nothing on TV about it.
Yeah.
You know,
Nothing.
Well, these competitions, they're quite comfortable, I think, sitting idle
I
behind
don't
the
understand.
NRL and the AFL because they're the big brothers. They're the big sports around Australia. And we're quite comfortable going, we'll play second fiddle.
Mm.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
I think as soon as the A-League can get a deal with Optus Sport, the better.
Mm.
Because Optus it seems like the home of football. It's got the Premier League, FA Cup, League One, all that sort of stuff. And if it added the A-League,
League
I think,
One?
Ligue 1.
yeah,
Oh, is it?
I think so. It's got pretty much all the
So it
English
needs
stuff.
the A-League. It's the missing puzzle
Well,
piece.
no, I mean, I'm
The
just saying
bastions.
it's
They're
clearly
missing a corner piece.
it's clearly a place where the football fans are going to go, and
Yeah.
if the A-League's there, more people are probably going to watch
Probably,
it
because you
rather
go
than Fox Sports.
exactly, and you may as well go. You know what? Everywhere else is has every other game I might want to watch.
Yeah.
May as well.
Yeah, but again, that's if Optus advertised, and I think that's what it comes down to, gents.
Well, I
think
think
they
they
do for
do.
the Premier
No,
League. They
no, I
just
mean,
do.
But
If-
yeah, for Premier League,
No,
though.
in this situation, if Optus didn't advertise the A-League, then we'd be in the same boat here. I don't
Yeah.
think it's the fact that, it's the lack of advertising that's costing
yeah.
Foxtel at the moment. So that needs to change. Anyway, gents, let's move on to what we're chatting about this week. Of course, now it's the Queensland bubble. We are Brisneylanders, as I've
We
so
are.
famously professed once again. But that means we're Queenslanders.
Yeah.
And
well, none of us are from Queensland.
no,
Not
But we're
originally.
adopted.
No.
adopted.
We're adopted Queenslanders.
Exactly,
Yeah.
gents. But the good thing for us as sports fans, as sporting tragics, is the fact that all teams want to come and play in front of us.
So
All of 'em.
happy.
And we're quite okay with
great.
this, I think, at the moment. But anyway, boys, let's get into that.
Yeah.
So, boys, sport is coming our way, like I just said. CJ,
Yep.
a lot of AFL is
Yep,
coming our
very
way. Something
happy.
you're very happy about. Gusman, something we'll get into in just a little bit is the idea that maybe the NRL should follow. But let's start with your code, CJ. Mate, I think, Port played... No, St Kilda played Freo. No, that was in Freo.
Yeah.
Who played it? the Goldie last week? Oh, no. Gabba. No, it was Swans Richmond.
There were a few games,
Swans Richmond. Melbourne.
I think Dogs played up here.
Someone?
Dogs,
Yeah, anyway.
Dogs played.
Sports come our way.
Yeah, it has.
Like I've said for the nth amount of time now.
Yes.
But basically, mate, the fact that Victoria is in such a dire situation at the moment, they've kind of gone back, sadly, into the COVID lockdown situation that we were in a few weeks ago now, gents. I think they're in a 6-week lockdown.
They're in dire straits.
And Gil McLaughlin came out, the AFL CEO, and commented that basically the season in Victoria is very much on the ropes, the home and away season. But I think you've got a statement?
Yeah, I do. Well, I don't have a statement, but I've got basically a summary of the statement. So Victorian teams are to be based out of Queensland for up to 10 weeks, so it might change depending on the situation. They asked a few teams have already moved and they're staying at various hotels, but teams can travel. This is kind of a weird one for me. They can travel in and out of Queensland. So I'm assuming that means, down to Adelaide, even though I think the Adelaide teams are up here.
No,
they're not.
They're
back home, so they can travel there. You can travel to Western Australia. If Sydney teams are still in Sydney, they can be there, or they can travel there. They're still working out the fixtures, so obviously we know we've been given snapshots of 4 weeks up until this point, so that's still in the works. Gil McLaughlin, the AFL CEO, thinks that, or he believes, the AFL can get the season done within 10 weeks, which is very ambitious.
Look, I think the AFL at the start of the season, or the start of the season 2.0, basically when it started from round 2, that's what I'm trying to say, after COVID, they reduced the quarter lengths so that if this came to be and teams had to play 2 games a week, then they could. And I think it's kind of silly that everyone's kind of forgetting about that. Gusman, they play 16.5-minute quarters now.
Yeah,
this is the AFL preparing for this exact situation. But Melbourne, Victoria is AFL heartland, isn't it? And everyone's talking about now, where's the grand final going to be? Why would McLaughlin want to speed this along?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, wouldn't it make more sense, I think, to go, okay, stand back, let's let the season run its course, and hopefully by the end of it, the MCG is hosting a final once again.
I don't think they can afford to do that.
Well, I mean, you've got the Cricket T20 World Cup, the Men's Cricket T20 World Cup at the end of the year.
I can't see that happening, really.
But, I mean, that's probably why they're trying to speed it up, so that they don't clash
with it.
But
and clash with BBL season as well.
Cricket's a big sport. Like, you're not going to...
AFL's bigger.
But, I mean, it's going to be tough to compete and play games on the same sort of same sort of time.
Doesn't cricket get a whole lot smaller when fans can't tour? I'm talking the Barmy Army, but of course the Indian fans. India has a population of 1 billion people. I get it; it's huge. It's a religion over there, right?
Yeah,
cricket is. But basically, if they can't come, then the Cricket World Cup could almost take a bit more of a backseat, can't it, CJ?
But mate, the cricket's now moved from Channel 9 to Channel 7. So, I mean, AFL's Channel 7 as well. So, you've got a clash there as well. So,
that's true.
It's the broadcasters from Channel 7, they're going to be going, okay, AFL, you have to hurry up.
It done by this
You
time.
need to finish your season. Like, get all the games in, but you got to get it done before the cricket starts because they don't want it to impact on their other big TV event at the end of the year.
Yeah.
So,
but didn't the AFL earlier in the year say that they were going to be willing to kind of adjust their season around the cricket? I think they said that, didn't they, CJ?
Something along those lines.
About, the grand final, it's not going to be when it normally is.
They did pick a date.
First week of October.
They did pick a date, though.
They did, but again, that's up in the air now, surely. It
has
to be,
well, it's changing with it. I think they'll try and pull it forward.
I mean, the season's still, the season's still...
one every week.
One every week.
The fixture list.
Joke at this point.
The fixture list, you can only look at the next 2 rounds.
Yeah.
The AFL and the world can't predict further than 2 weeks from now. They don't know what's going to happen next week.
No.
There could be another spike and, anywhere.
Yeah, 100%. We don't know what's going to happen, and I think that's why they can't afford to, stretch it out or fit around. I think they want to get it done before any more spikes happen, play as many games as they can in states that aren't really affected, like Queensland, like Western Australia. They've said that games could be played in Tasmania and the Northern Territory, which would be really interesting.
Mate, there should be a hub in
North
Tassie.
Queensland.
There should be a hub in Tassie.
There one hub, maybe not a hub, but there should be games played there. I mean, Tassie don't want to risk having players that might get infected from playing teams from other states, and then because they're the safest. They're on an island.
Yeah,
that's the best place you can be.
We're going to need more grounds as well if we're going to play all these games in Queensland. The Gabba, the Metricon, it's just going to be destroyed.
Something I brought up with you guys before the podcast is injuries, and If you've already seen some of the with these double headers that are happening, especially at Metricon, which
I
isn't
saw
as
the
nice
turf at Metricon. It was dreadful.
That's what I mean. You're going to get ankles that are going to be busted. You're going to get knees that are going to be blown out. But that turf is going to be so bad and worn by the end of the season that players are just going to be getting injured left, right, and
I'll
centre.
mention this when we talk about the NRL, but it was the same situation with Bankwest Stadium. They just play so many games on it that the turf just gets destroyed, and you're risking player safety there as well.
So
100%.
How do the AFL and the NRL, if we're talking about that as well, how do they get around this?
They need more stadiums. So you need to play games up at Sunny Coast.
But maybe there aren't stadiums.
Or they play.
You don't need a stadium.
Or they upgrade domestic.
Don't need a
Or
stadium.
they upgrade domestic grounds and play there.
That's what I mean.
I mean, the Melbourne Storm are doing it with the Sunshine Coast ground. They just upgraded the facilities, made it approved by the NRL. The AFL will do the same thing.
They need to do the same. They need to go up to play at Kazali Stadium at up at North Queensland. They need to play at Maroochydore or wherever they're going to play on the Sunny Coast.
And that'll benefit you
put
as
some
well.
money. Queensland AFL need to do it for their own interest.
Are you suggesting they play at park venues?
Yeah,
Like
not
club
necessarily
venues?
park. They do that at club venues.
So
If
like
there's-
play at
pre-season,
Cooperoo.
pre-season venues.
Yeah, if there's
Yep.
going to be no crowds,
Go play at
then
Aspley.
But
if
there
there's gonna,
can be crowds, Gusman.
well, yeah, even then
Yeah.
you can probably fit. What is it,
But-
10,000?
but
you can probably fit.
If you
10,000.
gate it off,
Yeah,
But
yeah,
you're
fine.
you're also having to have fans follow social distancing,
yeah,
which
true.
is a lot harder on a grass bank than it is
harder
in a
on
seated
grass bank,
venue.
I agree.
And they're also smaller. So it's going to make sense for the AFL taking it to these smaller grounds only if they could get a decent crowd anyway.
Well, they might. If they do take it to these grounds, they might not allow crowds in.
Look, if I take, if I'm Gil McLaughlin and I'm going, okay, yes, we need to play more games, but I need to make money. There needs to be a trade-off. Why would I take games to Noosa, where teams are based, I might add, but not playing at?
Yeah, no,
There's
they're
a
travelling.
There's a reason for that.
Yeah.
If the Noosa venue is only, say, 2,000 people, I don't know what it is, don't at me.
Yeah.
But I can only fit, it's 25%, isn't it?
Yeah.
500 people? That's right,
Yeah.
isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. I know that.
Yeah.
But look,
Maths,
it's either you do that or you risk the players getting injured,
Which
and I think,
is a
I think
bigger risk
at some
long-term.
point you've just got to play games.
What if Patrick Cripps gets injured from playing at Metricon, rolls his ankle, done for a year? Maybe that's the end of his career.
Yeah.
Does his ACL because of it? That is more of a risk than 10,000 tickets.
Yeah, I think.
Yeah.
But I think something that we're weirdly forgetting is the fact that Queensland's the hub,
Yeah.
not Brisbane. And so I'm suggesting, maybe move some teams north. Let's consider Townsville, Cairns, Mackay, and teams can easily travel between those.
What's the go with the Northern Territory? Is the Northern Territory?
They have a stadium up
Are
there.
their borders
it's
open?
fair
Up in
game.
Darwin. Yep, they're
'Cause
considering
take,
games there.
Take games there.
I think-
as well.
It's
I think
about-
in Western Australia you need to start playing at Subiaco as well.
100%.
Because
Wacker.
that's Wacker
But I
play
mean,
at all these grounds.
Queensland don't have many
Go play
AFL
at Allen
grounds.
Border.
Yeah.
Yeah, they could do
That'd
that.
be cool,
Yeah.
actually.
Although they don't have any posts there, and it's a strictly cricket ground. So
We'll put up cones
put up cones.
where the post should be.
Yeah.
Put up the Oz
They-
kick posts.
Mate, they would not like it, the cricketers.
No, they would
like
not
it.
like
Hear me
it.
out. Hear me out.
Yeah.
Change things up completely and just go AFLX. and play at
Oh
Suncorp.
yes, play Ballymore. I'd love it. I'd love to see it.
Gee, that's a way to get the season
That's
done
a way
and
to get
dusted.
it
But
going.
taking it to your sport,
Yeah.
Gusman, Peter V'landys has said that
goat.
it's
The goat.
unlikely.
Oh, love him.
He's actually been very, very good.
He's been alright.
He's my
been-
god.
oh,
He's my god.
He looks like a slimy,
does.
greasy, he looks like he'd fudge your books.
He looks
he's
like
an
bad
accountant.
news. He looks like
Yeah, he
bad
looks
news.
like an accountant who'd definitely commit fraud.
Yeah, I'm getting Oscar off Sesame Street vibes there.
Yeah.
A little bit, yeah.
Oh, is it Oscar? No,
No,
who's
Oscar
the
the
vampire?
Grouch.
Who's the vampire?
Count.
The count. Yeah.
The count.
Is it just the count?
Because he goes,
Yeah, he's-
1, 2.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, he's
that's
doing
him.
a good job.
But he's been very good. I think,
Yeah.
of course, the famous slogan "Make America Great Again" that was then incorporated to "Make Rugby League Great Again,"
Oh,
and he's
God,
done
of
that.
course it was.
I will
Yeah.
say that he has done that. So hands, clapping my hands to him.
Yeah,
Well done.
no, it was as much as we talk smack about him at the start. Well, you didn't.
Well, we did.
Finn and I did.
We
We
did.
talked smack about him maybe being a bit over-ambitious.
Oh, and I
Overly-ambitious.
agreed at the very start,
Yeah.
and then things started to fall in place, and I just changed my mind.
and fair play.
But-
You got it right.
See, it's a bit of deja vu here, CJ, because I'm starting to think he's almost in over his head once again.
Mm.
Now, I know he has a track record now to back his decisions up, but he came out and said it's unlikely that all 16 teams would be moved to Queensland.
Yeah.
Mm.
Surely this has to be seriously considered, as it does with the Giants and the Swannies in the AFL.
Yeah.
I think everything's being considered. I mean, they're still even considering moving everyone to an island. I mean, that's never been. Everything's on the table. They have been so prepared. The NRL for this Project Apollo has been outstanding.
Is that the name of it?
Yeah, that's the name of their
You're not a space mission, mate. No. You're the NRL. Come on.
Yeah,
they like to think they are.
We're sending people to North
Can we
Queensland.
just segue for a second? That resort idea would be the best reality
like
TV
Fight
show.
Island.
It'd be great.
Oh my
It'd
god!
be great.
Especially NRL players.
It'd be like I want reality TV like Big Brother, Kardashians, whatever type filming of I don't know a Storm player has a biff with a Sharks player in the
Todd player, bro,
and then they run
on the beach,
and then they both walk into the lift at the same time.
Oh.
You know, and it's like
punch-ons.
Meanwhile, Todd Carney's in the bathroom by himself, having a quick drink.
Peter V'landys is his big brother.
Yeah,
you know, Cameron Smith,
mate, to the diary room. Cameron Smith to the diary room.
What is it, big brother? I want you to go out drinking with Todd Carney.
This is your challenge for today.
But I mean, everything's still on the table for the NRL. They've been really well prepared, and I mean, they've announced that it's very unlikely that they'll move to Queensland.
Another idea.
Eyes lit up. Here he goes.
What's that?
Bachelor, but you get to pick your teammate. You get to pick your teammate.
God.
You go on dates with them, just doing bro stuff, just like going to the arcade or like playing FIFA or something like that.
Yeah.
Look,
I can beat you in FIFA, so I'll pick you as my teammate.
The opportunities are endless.
Yeah, they are. And Tangalooma, who doesn't want to go to Tangalooma?
Just an absolute hub.
Channel 9, are you listening? Get this
Hire us as
sorted.
your
Get
producers.
this sorted.
We're
This
your
would be
producers.
amazing television.
Anyway, Gusman.
But yeah,
As you
so
were.
I mean, they said it's unlikely. Andrew Abdo, the CEO, acting, but I think he's going to be the CEO of the NRL, said, it's unlikely they're going to move teams to Brisbane. They've actually reinstated those social distancing and all those rules for the players, so they're not allowed to go to pubs, clubs.
Were they not?
Cafes.
Were they allowed to?
Yeah, they were allowed to up until now.
Well,
there's been no cases.
But that's stupid.
There was the Penrith winger on the weekend. He scored 4 tries on debut.
Yeah.
And got on the sauce.
No, I think he did. But basically, the rule is you're allowed to have 10 people at your house a day.
And he had 15 or something.
No, but you're only allowed 5 at a time. And I think he had 10 people at once.
Yeah, I think
Something
he
something
scored
like
4
that.
on debut.
Yeah, but
and it was mostly family, and like they followed the rules. He's not allowed back into the Panthers hub for 2 weeks.
No,
He's not going to play for 2 weeks. He's out the side.
He's
exactly.
That's ridiculous.
Nearly as criminal as Archie
he
Thompson.
He broke it. No, it's just stupid that he did it.
Yeah, I know, but I mean,
like you get a good game and then you
go.
He
scored 4 tries on debut. He obviously forgot. He forgot about all that.
I think
stuff
that's poll worthy about what's more criminal, that being dropped for that in that situation, or Archie Thompson being dropped after scoring 9 goals.
Yeah.
It's
it seems like something
flip of a coin.
Yeah.
But there's been a few. I can't remember. But Parramatta, one of their bench players, I forgot his name. He was making his debut as well.
Played like 7 seconds. Didn't
he? Yeah. And he went to hug his family after the game.
He got done.
And he got done for that. But he got tested. The family got tested, all negative. So he's been allowed to come back to training.
I just want to touch on that Penrith winger just once.
Charlie Staines, that's his name. The
Penrith guy. Yeah.
All his mates were in the stand
I saw it
celebrating.
Yeah.
And I saw the Batuta Advocate were they released the post of like report.
These boys got on the sauce. Big night for these boys.
Yeah.
I'll try and get it up. There was also a good one the other day about Queensland. It was like AFL players go back into anonymity from moving to Queensland, and it's like a photo of Dustin Martin at Howard Smith Wharves, and it's like, is that Darius Boyd?
I saw another one about Peter V'landys, like, walking up to the Warriors, going, "Come on, guys, the small country town in Queensland is not that bad."
Giving them a speech like Cameron Smith style.
Yeah, exactly. So anyway, we are getting very sidetracked.
Yeah,
here, boys. But basically, I think as of now, it would be stupid for the NRL. It wouldn't make financial sense for them to go, you know what, shit. All 16 clubs, based in Brisbane, Magic round every week.
It's very unlikely.
It's very unlikely.
That being said, guys, I think the fact that New South Wales and even Queensland now is going to be exposed to COVID once again, it does present the headache that right now it might not be an issue, CJ, but it could be next week.
Could be.
Look, I think, Peter V'landys said that they didn't want to stop the season at all, even when the coronavirus cases were at 25%. I think I don't know what the percentage is now, but it's not up to that level.
Nowhere near it.
But I don't think they've reinstated these rules for players, and I think the players are going to keep safe.
Yeah.
99% of them are going to do the right thing, and the odd 1% they'll do the wrong thing, like see too many people or hug family members when they're not supposed to.
Film TikToks with chicks at your house. Like,
exactly, they'll break the bubble, and they won't be allowed back into training. They've got all these rules.
Well, they've seen what can happen.
Yeah, I highly doubt we'll see a case in the NRL. If we do, then that could be trouble. But I still think they'll find a way to figure it out. I mean, we saw Aiden Tolman, his situation with his kid who was exposed to it or something, but he tested negative, so it was all fine. A referee got exposed to it, but was fine. So it's just it's day by day, but I think they're doing a really good job planning it out and getting organised. They're very organised, the NRL, so they know what to do. But they're not going to stop the season.
They're putting in good contingency
plans. They're never going to stop the season, and they will not. I highly doubt they move teams to Queensland. It's just very unlikely.
I do just want to butt in for a second and say, well, you caught me off guard
for the price of one.
But basically, at least fans and I guess players can almost not laugh at the situation, but see the lighter side of things, such as Nathan Cleary. As you mentioned, of course, the son of Ivan Cleary, his coach, star halfback.
Yeah.
He was scrubbed out for the first week or two, 2 weeks, for a COVID breach, of course, TikToking.
Yeah.
And at the game last week, there were fans in the crowd as the players were doing the rounds, who started doing the blinding lights dance.
Yeah.
And Cleary just started laughing his head off.
So funny.
Again, so
I'm glad that he laughed about it because he could easily be like, go into the rooms.
Stuff you. Let's
go into the rooms,
get
boys.
them out. So again, it's the lighter side of things. He did something wrong, but I think
he realises that.
Exactly. So that's the only way to move on.
Yeah. Good news for the players coming up to Queensland. They can still have their families. They can come up and stay with them in the hotel rooms and stuff like that. So that's good.
I want to touch on the Warriors as well, but finish.
Yeah, no, it's just good that they get to keep their families with them and whatnot. Very good for the league, and
it's tough.
Yeah, it's tough. Like that's one of the things that probably doesn't get talked about enough is being away from your families, especially when you have young families and you're missing out on some of the best years of their life and when they're growing up. I saw a video from the Western Bulldogs with Josh Bruce and his daughter, and it was just really nice to see.
Yeah.
So that's really good that they still get to keep their kids.
Touching on the Warriors, as you meant, Gusman, 4 players, I think, just went home, or at least have their flights booked to go back home.
I think they're going in a month or something. I'm not too
still,
sure.
they've kind of this was reported a month ago.
Yeah.
The fact that these players had enough and wanted to go back home because they're homesick, and as you said, CJ,
and you're losing.
This isn't reported. These players, they're just being ridiculed once again for while they've made a good sacrifice. They're getting snotted.
Yeah.
Why the hell would you want to stay when you're? To be fair, they're earning decent cash.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
But what's more important?
Yeah, it's their choice. Like you can't tell them what to do. Like they're going to do whatever they want, but don't expect to get paid.
No,
I mean this is just what happens. You're sacrificing your paycheck to go to see your family. And honestly, they've been gone for 2 months. It's not like they've been gone for years, or they've gone to Afghanistan to fight in the war.
That's a big chunk of time, mate.
It's 2 months. I've been away from my family for longer than that.
Yeah,
when?
You don't have a kid, mate.
I've been on holidays, mate, by myself.
But you don't have a kid who's 2 years old.
Yeah, I know, and I understand it, but everyone's had to make sacrifices.
Yeah.
And I'm so thankful for what the Warriors have done.
Yes.
And and everyone said that. Everyone's brought it up pretty much every week. How the Warriors sacrifice and how grateful they are, but it's been 2 months.
Yeah, I do not blame players for wanting to go home at all.
We're halfway through the season. There's another 2 months.
I think
they're not making finals, and they'll be back home with their families.
I think you're almost forgetting the worst part of all this, Gusman, and that's the fact that these players ultimately don't know when they're going back. There's so much uncertainty still, as there has been up until this point, about when they're going home and what's to come. So these guys, they're going, yes, the season at the moment has 2 months to go, but what if it gets put on hold for 3 weeks?
What if I have to stay here? What if it gets put on hold for 2 months?
Well, they're not going to be forced to stay in Australia.
No,
they might.
But it's also
they won't.
When they go back, they have to quarantine for 2 weeks.
Yeah, that's fine.
I know, but it's still like they can still be in the same city as their family, but they still don't get to see them for another 2 weeks. So at every week they decide to stay in Australia, they're another 2 weeks away from seeing their family.
Yeah, I know.
But you can't judge them wanting to go home. You can't say,
no,
I've been away from my family for 2 months, so they can. That's not how it works.
No, well,
where'd you go?
I really don't care what they do.
Yeah.
But I'm saying it's 2 months, and there's probably 2 or 3 months left. You're not making finals, so...
Yeah, so pack your bags and go home. That's what they've done.
Well, they can do that, but I think it's a bit not... I'm going to say selfish, in comparison to the other team who are still staying over there. The Warriors are struggling. They have pretty much no troops left. They're going to have to get loans from other clubs. They're running out of players, and I think it's a bit hard on their teammates to just ditch them
It
2 months before the competition is ended.
But other players are in different situations when it comes to their families, such as Campbell touched on. If you have a newborn, you're missing out on that. There is so much you're missing out on, and it's a lot of guy time.
And think about the partners as well, having to raise the kids by themselves. It is not easy to raise a child.
It's
and then if your partner's away for 2 months, you can say, oh yeah, people do fly in, fly out. They don't do 2 months off. They don't do 2 months off.
Where have you been?
Yeah, where have you been by yourself for 2 months?
I went to Scotland, mate.
With
for
the
2 months.
With the BBC,
for like a month.
With a bunch of
bit,
BBC boys.
With the BBC
Oh, yeah.
bagpipe.
Yeah.
I was in Japan for 6 weeks by myself, and that was quite grim, to be fair. Like
you were by yourself.
Yeah, you were you were really by yourself.
You were really a loner then.
Yeah, but these guys are with their mate. They're with their teammates. So it's not like they're alone like you were.
What I'm trying to say is it does
loser.
The World Cup final was really good. No, but it does get to you.
Yeah.
We are recording.
And I definitely agree. But
I don't know. I think it's unfair to label it selfish. The fact that these players want to go home, it's
a choice.
It's brave and it's courageous for these players to have come at all.
Yeah.
I think. And it's a noble sacrifice in itself.
Yeah.
Those photos of the Warriors players at the airport saying goodbye to their family when they have like 2-year-old daughters crying because they don't know when daddy's coming home. That's rough, mate.
That's so sad.
And
man.
for these players to go, you know what?
This isn't what I signed on for.
After a month, 6 weeks, 2 months of playing, whatever, this just isn't cutting it anymore because my priorities have changed.
My pay hasn't gone
I
up.
kind of want to know what the go is with, because Peter V'landys said that they were going to try their best to bring families over from New Zealand so that they could all be in that big Tamworth bubble together.
Yeah.
And I don't think that's really happened.
Tamworth for 2 months.
I think it's it's a bit of it.
Yeah.
Pardon my French.
Sorry,
bit of a
Tamworth.
shithole.
Great country music town.
Oh no, it's terrible. I've been there
Great country music town. They've got big country music roots, but not really known for their NRL.
It's rubbish. But yeah,
They're only there for like a week.
Are they not there anymore?
No, they moved to Gosford.
Oh.
Did they?
I think so.
I thought they were still in Tamworth.
No,
but anyway,
they're based at Central Coast.
Anyway,
fair play. Gosford's pretty good.
But yeah, I'd like to see them bring the families over, but obviously that's pretty difficult. You got to negotiate with the New Zealand government, and obviously the New Zealand government are pretty firm on not getting coronavirus cases. Jacinta's just like
that's fair play. I wouldn't if I were her either.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think
it's very tough. Everyone's trying to do their best. You can't blame them for going back over, but I feel bad for the other teammates who still have to stay.
You were just calling it selfish.
Snip.
Yeah, no, I am. I feel bad for them, but I do think it's a little bit selfish.
So it's selfish, but you understand.
Yeah, I do. Which makes sense.
No, that's fair.
I understand.
You can say it's selfish, but you still understand it.
Yeah. I mean, I probably wouldn't do the same thing. I don't really know their situation. I'm not in the same situation.
If you're playing for your beloved Chooks,
I don't have any 2-year-old kids.
Tooth and nail.
He'd never leave the training facility.
Yeah, exactly.
Your kids are getting raised on your own.
But yeah,
you're out of order.
I'll see you when you're 18, son.
I'll see you when I retire.
But you can understand. They've left the rest of their team pretty much. So
they've also left their family. What's more important?
Yeah, I know, but all I'm saying they're being selfish for themselves in
Okay.
regards to their sporting career.
Okay. What else is a team? You and your partner raising a child.
Yes,
that's
no,
a team.
I
What's
understand.
selfish?
I'm not
that's
saying
more
that.
selfish.
I'm not saying that's a bad thing that they've gone home to their family. I'm just saying they've kind of thrown the rest of their team under the bus by doing it.
I'll tell you what. If you
Same
speak to any Warriors player, not that I have, but if you spoke to any of them and you said, "Do you think it's unfair that these 4 players are leaving?"
And they'll probably say no.
They would say no. And I think, to be
that.
honest, I think they would genuinely mean that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They would understand, again, that the sacrifice that these guys made at all is that big that they should be applauded on their way to the airport.
Yeah. But if you ask them the question saying, "Oh, do you think it's going to be tougher now that these guys have left?" They will 100% say yes.
And the guys who left would say that too.
Yeah, exactly. So, I mean, how is it really fair on those guys who are staying?
Don't quote me on this.
What gives someone else an opportunity to get game time?
Don't quote me on this either.
But they don't have anyone left.
Well, they might get
They're using players from other teams.
Make do. I'm pretty sure, again, don't quote me on this, but I think one of the players is a sick mum. It's something like that, or a sick partner or something.
I know.
Like, again, it's such a... For what they've done up until this point, for them to want to go home, I think is fair enough. It's justified. Well done for you. Plaudits for your efforts so far.
100%.
And I think you've just got to move on. But if Volandis had gotten family, friends, whatever, over from New Zealand to Australia, then that's a bit different.
Yeah.
But again, they haven't. So the players, in a way, haven't been given what they were promised.
Yeah.
So for them, it's not what they signed up for. So for them to want to go, you know what? I want to go home. Fair play.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Anyway.
Leaving school camp. But yeah. How about the NBA bubble that started recently? They're at
Russell Westbrook
Disneyland.
got
What about
corona.
Did he?
He's
Oh.
in quarantine.
Yeesh.
Yeah. But the players look like they're having fun.
They look like they're loving it.
There was one player who
Be like a big school camp.
I forgot which player it was, but one of the players ordered a pizza or something and then went down and got it himself, and it
That's
restarted
the
his quarantine time because he got it from that.
That's so bad.
No,
you see J.R. Smith was on Instagram Live and he went into the hallways and all the players were in the hallway and he was like on his phone and then he got a text from the NBA saying get off Instagram Live because he was showing too much about the bubble for some reason.
But I love that because I think all the rooms, so the rooms they've ranked differently. Like, of course, the elite rooms, whatever, the suites, and they've been allocated depending on your seating. So the better teams, I'm pretty sure.
Really?
I'm pretty sure.
Really? Penthouse. Like,
Not quite penthouse, but like the 3 best teams of the
Golden
best style
State.
of room.
Really?
Yeah.
Golden
That's a bit
State
weird.
just
To be-
chilling
to-
in the laundry room. They've got the laundry room.
Golden State came last.
Yeah, I know. That's what I'm saying.
Jeez.
They got
the
the
laundry
worst,
sorry.
room.
well, they got
Yeah.
the worst rooms.
So again, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
I'm going to check that.
Yeah.
But anyway,
I don't know.
boys, plenty of sport.
That's cool.
Coming to Queensland, not the NBA, unfortunately. That's at Disney World,
Yeah.
where Magic and
Put it
dreams
at
come
Dream
true.
World. Put it at Dream World.
Like
That's a bubble.
jeez.
The big drop. The giant drop.
The big
Should we be putting AFL teams into Wet and Wild and
Went wild. Put them at Movie World.
yeah, movie World?
It feels like we're in
Superman
Little
escape,
Victoria.
yeah.
Feels like we're in Little Victoria. I feel like I'm back in Melbourne.
Well, the
Footy
big-
games.
the big
5
bro-
a week.
the Big Brother house back at Dreamworld is still sitting there
it got knocked
vacant.
down.
Did it?
Pretty
Damn it.
sure. Yeah. Because you used to be able to like go and explore it like Urbex it,
Mm.
but you can't anymore.
Yeah.
Keep talking.
Could have been great. You keep talking. I'm on the phone. So Gus. Sport.
I like sport.
Yeah. It's great. Hey.
We done now?
Are we done?
'cause
No.
We're in the middle of a podcast. And
Yeah,
now
no, I was
what
just
are you-
I was
what are
just
you-
checking.
what are you doing,
No,
mate?
I was just checking. I was verifying my my statement about the rankings with rooms
Is it correct?
to seating.
Is
It
it?
was, of
Yeah.
course,
Oh,
CJ.
okay.
When
I
have
don't know
been?
about it, of course.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, anyway,
Who's
boys.
your source? Who's your source? Adam Rappaport.
Oh, man. Anyway, boys, again, plenty of sport coming our way, but we've got plenty more to chat about. Let's take a quick break, and then we'll come right back into it. So, boys, first things first, we want to
Whoa.
It
is you!
It is you!
We knew
Aha!
it. Yes.
Yes!
Yes.
Got him!
Yeah, I told you I wasn't popular enough.
I told
to
you
get
mine
it.
didn't make that sound.
Yeah, we knew it was you.
You're the rat.
I want to go back and listen to it because
Yes.
he's definitely like, it's definitely you, Angus. And it was you this whole
You.
time.
truth be told,
Judas.
You knew it the
I
whole
knew it was
time.
me.
Ah!
Okay, anyway, boys, let's keep this going. First
God
things first,
damn it.
we
Oh
want
my
to chat
God.
about the Big Bash. The draw came out on Wednesday, the day we are recording. Chris Lynn, favourite son of the Brisbane Heat, of course, tweeted so famously, CJ,
I haven't seen this yet.
the
so
golden
this is fresh.
goose has been cooked again. Mate, the Big Bash, longer than it's ever been before. Last season, everyone I know, including you two, of course, were talking about the fact that this season is far too long. It's dragged on. And
People
this
lose
season,
interest.
Mate.
BBL 10, I think it is.
Yep.
56 home and away games, plus a final series.
56.
Yep,
56.
yep.
Do you remember when it started?
Oh,
it was
my
just, it was
word. Round
absolutely...
robin.
You played each side once.
And that was good. Like, it was... And games every night. Now
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
like... Now it's not that way.
No.
You know, it's,
Games every night was the best thing about it.
This is just Channel 7 trying to milk
Oh.
the BBL for everything it was. It's gonna be ruined.
This is a
season,
roar.
no one's gonna watch it.
One of the
No.
best things about the Big Bash back then, as well as the fact it was every night, was the commentary.
Yeah.
And they just don't have that same team.
You even had better players in the competition.
You did.
You had those legends. Like, you had Brett Lee starting up
I'm
the
so
lawnmower.
I'm so
Warney.
disappointed because I really loved the Big Bash.
Yep.
And they've destroyed it.
Yes.
They've absolutely destroyed
They're
it.
struggling to get talent in the league as well because
They are.
you're playing it at the same time as tests and you can't have the
Yeah.
players come and it's like It's ridiculous because then you get Shield players who people have never heard of, who are good players, but no one's ever heard of them, so no one bloody cares.
I just don't understand. Everyone was saying, don't keep the season this length. It's too long. It's too
Way
long.
too long.
And what do? They extend it.
What's
is wrong with it? Who's in charge
Who
of
is
this,
doing
buddy?
this?
And
Oh my God!
who's
I
pressing
don't
the
get
buttons?
it, honestly.
Now, I haven't seen this in the schedule because I haven't looked at it that closely, to be fair. But the fact that last year, I remember they'd play some days they'd play games during the day. Or early afternoon, and then another game at night. Now, this comes back to exactly what I've said twice already. Games every night was the formula that worked.
Yeah.
Personally, around that time, I was freshly 18.
Even
so
before that.
I was catching up with mates every night. It was just a different house every night, watching the game, having a yarn.
Yeah.
That
even
was
before
fun.
that, even like when you were 14, 15, it was the same situation. It was so good.
I remember
Christmas time.
I was staying at Maroochydore one holiday, and I remember just like every night it was like, okay, sweet, I'll go over like a kayak, go for a swim, whatever.
Yeah.
And then come 6 p.m, I'm sitting down and I'm watching the Big Bash.
Yeah, I remember I was at my nana's place down in Queenscliff in Victoria, and it was, eat dinner, watch cricket.
Yep.
Every single night. And it was just perfect.
And I think last year I really couldn't give a toss.
I
watched it because we had to watch it, obviously, for this. Like, we have to, obviously,
do your research.
We watch games.
But I didn't
fairly
watch
recently.
every game.
I used
to watch almost every game when it was the shorter competition, but now
you can't.
Now it just
I don't give a
drags on.
toss.
No.
I don't care.
Now it drags on, and the final series is different now, I think.
Oh,
isn't
yeah,
it?
they
It's
changed the
just-
bracket last year, and it's
I don't
just
know.
stupid.
Which we haven't seen enough of it to really
I
judge
didn't
it.
mind the idea behind it, but it's after everything else, and then there's more games in finals.
Yeah.
So the season's already longer.
And now
Then you have a longer finals,
longer,
and now we've made the season even longer,
yeah.
and the finals longer. So it's like, what the hell?
I
Just
think
bring it back.
if there's
Have the current final
They had
system.
a
It's like,
working
No,
formula,
if the
and they've screwed it
if
up.
the season was this long, make it a league. Make it at the end of the home and away season. That's it. That's curtains.
Thing is-
EPL-esque.
Yeah.
Let's
Yeah,
loop it full
exactly.
circle back to what
Yeah.
you said at the very start of
Yeah.
the show, Gusman. The Big Bash should have taken that
Mm.
from the EPL
yeah.
if that's what they wanted to do. If they wanted this bullshit of a season and they wanted to really drag it out, because no one's going to go.
Don't have a grand
Thing is-
final.
No,
Just
because because the big
no, have a grand final.
the winner comes first.
No, have a grand
Oh.
final. Have a grand final.
Yeah.
Channel
okay.
7 is now going to spend a shit ton of money in this season, and to be fair, they'll do marketing and
They do
advertising,
marketing
Yeah.
well.
unlike the A-League and Rugby Australia.
Mm.
Yeah.
And they'll want fans to not only watch games, but also rock up to them and attend.
If they can, yeah.
I'm not going to go. I went to one game last year.
I think
That's
I went
'cause
to one or
that
two,
was,
yeah.
That was because my
Yeah.
cousin was over from Christchurch. And
Yeah.
I thought, okay, he doesn't get Big Bash down in
Yeah,
Christchurch.
yeah.
hmm
I'll take him.
Yeah, I remember I went on my birthday because there's usually games on my birthday, so I end up going with some mates and stuff, and it's a good time, but it's like the one time I go a year, and it's like, it's just average.
It is average. And like you said,
And you see the Heat get bowled for like 78.
Yeah,
that
it's
was
like-
so inconsistent. Again,
Yeah.
if they don't win it this year, I mean, that's a whole other debate that hopefully we can chat about.
Yeah. Well,
A
the thing
bit
is,
later,
they have to
but-
play. They have to pay players more now.
Yeah.
You can't. It's not like we're getting more games out of the players. If they play more games, they have to be paid appropriately.
Exactly.
Like-
So it's like, what are you gaining? You're not. Maybe you're making more money out of it. That's the only thing I can see them gaining out of this, is that there's more games, so they're making more money. But it's like,
But
is the investment worth
I mean,
it?
I think Chris Lynn hit the ball on. What
Hit
is
the
it?
nail
Hit
on
the
the head.
nail on the head.
Hit the ball on the head.
Hit the ball on the head. No, I think he got it perfectly right. He said this before, that the competition was too long, and
Yeah.
I mean, he actually took this tweet down. What was it again?
He probably got forced to.
Gooses.
the golden
Golden
goose
Goose.
has been cooked again.
Yeah, but he took that tweet down pretty quickly. But yeah, he is right. The competition is just too long.
It is. So
It's too long.
it's faced plenty of backlash, both on this podcast and
Yeah.
elsewhere. So, I mean,
But everyone knows it's face backlash here. This is,
Mate,
I
it's-
mean, we're the bastion
Dude,
of
Channel 7. Oh.
we're the
Anyway.
bastion of sports news across Queensland. So
Channel 7's going to ruin cricket.
yep,
Watch
That's
this
that's a hot
space.
take. But
Watch
it's true.
this space. Channel 7 is going to ruin cricket.
That's a
Yeah.
very, very big call. But I'm in agreement with you.
yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway,
I'm in agreement.
Anyway, boys, moving on to
Yes.
just the last thing. Washington Redskins, or the team formerly known as the Washington Redskins, the NFL team, of course.
Washington football team.
They've announced that they are going to change their name and logo. And just to finish, I want to hear your thoughts on what we want the new Washington team name to be.
Oh, you've thrown that to me.
Yeah,
right in there.
I didn't think
I
of
need to
this.
think about. Okay.
Okay,
Okay.
well, I'll go
all right.
first,
Yep.
'cause
Go.
I saw Stephen A. Smith, the famous ESPN broadcaster. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It's like he's right
He's
here.
the best. He's yeah, thank you.
He suggested the Washington Warriors. Now that'd be my pick.
It's not too bad.
I quite like it.
But I could see a Hawaii team being called that.
Oh yeah.
What about
A particular
about,
rugby team
um,
maybe?
31st team.
Yeah.
Uneven numbers.
What about like the Washington
I like that.
Wizards?
That's basketball team.
Is it actually?
Yeah.
That's their
Oh yeah,
basketball
that's
team.
right.
Question.
Washington Warlocks. Hey,
Okay.
Well, that's a lock. I think this.
I
I think this.
well,
pod-
I don't need to say mine. The Senators is. No, they don't have the Senators.
What?
I'm trying to think. Is the Senators? Is that their hockey team? But I think it is actually. Because like.
I have no idea.
All right, Washington Congressman. Something to do with politics.
What about Trump's men?
Nah, keep it the way it was in that case. No, I think it's got to be something politics based because like
No.
Washington
interesting.
Capital.
No, I was going to say.
yeah,
I was going
do
to
they
say.
already
Washington
have
Capitals. Yeah.
I think Capitals is a
Is that a
team.
base-
I
is that
feel
a
like
baseball
baseball
side?
No,
team.
it's not.
Yeah.
No, Nationals.
Well, I mean, you can still have
Nah,
two
you
sides
can't.
that are named the same.
Not from the same city. Nah.
What about just Washington
Well,
City?
what's
Mm.
what
No.
what
America doesn't do that.
It doesn't know.
what's special about Washington?
The White House.
Is it-
Politics is the only. It's like it's Canberra.
Yeah.
It's Canberra.
God,
Call them the
how
Washington.
boring.
Yeah,
How
exactly.
boring.
Um,
I don't think I've seen
Presidents?
Washington Capitals.
Nah.
No, not presidents. Ooh, Washington presidents.
Hey, well, they're not.
What
What's
about
scary?
Do they? What about the Washington Welcomers?
I've heard.
Inclusive-
Welcomers.
Okay.
Oh God.
I've heard weirdly.
Throw up.
I've heard someone suggest ocelots, which is a terrible name in my opinion.
Ocelots.
Yeah.
Well, you got to brand it as well, so they've got
Yeah.
to find something that they can brand. Washington
Senators-
Welcomers, they're not going to be able to.
That was
I
a
think.
joke.
I think
a
senators.
I hope so.
I think senators is actually not bad.
Okay.
And you guys.
But like, how are they going to brand that though? Senator. Like,
Yeah. I don't know. I
it's
think
just
it's
going to
cool.
be
I don't know.
boring.
I don't think.
They
Let's got the
got to pick
Nationals,
an
like-
animal. What's like the animal? What animals are found?
Beavers maybe.
Bears.
Bears.
Is there? Oh, there's Chicago Bears.
Yeah.
Bloody hell.
Grizzlies.
They've got every. They've got every.
Grizzlies.
Well,
Vancouver. Well, the
Yeah.
Memphis Grizzlies.
I don't know. This
Deer.
Mm.
Oh,
I think-
again,
Bucks.
Bit close to
Yeah.
Redskins
I think.
again. There.
I think they've just
No.
start stealing names. I think the Washington, or the Warriors, is of course the
Do you think they'll stick
Washington
along the same
basketball
Wolves?
team.
Wolves?
Oh, Washington Wolves.
Warrington Wolves.
I like that.
Yeah, but
Wolves.
it's a different Washington Wolves.
And which Americans are going to know Warrington Wolves? Or the Wolverhampton one?
Joey
I mean,
Johns.
there's
Oh, yeah.
I mean, there's the Timberwolves in,
Yeah, Minnesota.
but
I think Wolves works.
Wolves would be fine. I reckon.
I think, yeah.
I don't know how many Wolves are in
I think that's a good
Washington,
one.
but
I like that.
Mm.
I
All
like
right.
that.
Well,
Wolves.
this could be a poll. This could be
Yeah.
Redskins.
It's an ongoing discussion.
the
Faithful.
Welcomers or the or the Wolves.
Or the Wolves.
I was striving.
I'm
for
glad
inclusivity.
I'm just gonna say I'm glad the names changed. It's a good thing in my
Yeah, I
opinion.
think
I
it's
think
about
so.
time.
Which is really good. So
Yeah.
it's good to see them change it. I mean, you still do have in the baseball, you have like the Braves and the Indians and stuff like that,
Chiefs in the NFL.
and Chiefs
But
in the NFL.
Yeah,
I think
They're
let-
slightly
let's-
different though.
Let's not get
but
into it because
yeah.
that could get quite political. But there are names which are ultimately still quite controversial.
Mm.
And I think once the Redskins, or formerly known as the Redskins, once their name is addressed, then I think the other teams will follow.
Yeah.
Let's put it that way.
Can't wait
But
for the Wolves.
time will tell.
yeah.
I like
Washington
that.
Wolves.
Washington.
So do I,
Wolves.
actually.
Washington
Yeah,
Wolves.
it's
I
not
think
bad.
that works.
Yeah.
It has a ring. It can be a scary
Yeah,
animal.
exactly.
You can have like a different color palette.
And I'm
Scary
already
in a
thinking.
good way.
Ooh.
I'm already thinking
I'm
pre-game
excited.
they get the howl going, or like a
Exactly.
yeah, and
That
they
would be
and all the members are called the pack, the Wolf
Oh
Pack,
yes, see, this is just.
the Wolf Pack.
It's almost
yeah,
like
the
it's the
members.
Toronto Wolfpack or something
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah, but who knows the Toronto Wolf Pack and
Canada.
Canada.
I
Canada,
don't,
eh?
I don't even think Toronto
Hey.
do.
I don't think
To
they
be
do.
fair,
They
'cause-
don't. Have you seen how big their stadium is?
Well, yeah.
Not very.
It's not very big.
Not very big.
Sunny Bills played like 3 games.
They
or
got
did play
plenty.
3
They got
games.
plenty of cash money though.
Call them the
So-
beasts.
They do. Anyway, gents, one thing left to mention, of course, National League North and South Eliminators.
My word, Jesus.
Sunday night, Monday morning. Dartford, of course, trying to take one step closer to promotion to the National League, otherwise known as Division 5, in the English Football League.
Yes.
Gents.
One more thing to mention as well. Episode 52.
Episode 52, of course, is
Bit of
next.
housekeeping.
Yeah, episode 52 is next week. And Gusman?
We're throwing it around a
Yeah,
little bit.
mate, oh,
We're
yeah.
playing hacky sack out here, boys.
So I think the initial plan at the moment, guys, is episode 52. That'll mark the 1-year anniversary of the Beyond the Sidelines podcast, but that'll also mean a bit of a change for what we do. So at the moment, we have, it's okay, mate, it's okay. We have done regular programming or regular episodes once a week, but that will come to an end. The podcast won't. But yeah,
we just don't have time.
We just don't
guys.
have time.
Honestly,
it takes a lot of time.
It
Yeah.
does. It does take a bit of time. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
But I think we've also got to kind of find that balance a bit too. So
We're all third years going into fourth year next year.
first year.
First year.
Come on.
Yeah, he's been at uni for 3 years.
Yeah, I'm a first year
Counts.
with a third year's brain.
Exactly.
Wow.
Jeez.
First
Third
year with a
grade,
high-
maybe.
I saw Baz walking today.
Oh, did you?
Yeah. Anyway,
Walking.
That's a very
surprise.
inside joke there.
as our modern history teacher.
Yeah, I know.
and he can't normally walk.
I remember we saw him.
He usually
One of
gets
us saw him.
he usually gets puffed walking up the stairs. So.
All right. No,
Kind
but
of like this.
Sorry
Baz
to be
character.
mean, Baz. I know.
Wait,
you
guys,
can't-
let's. Oh, sorry. Let's not get off topic. 'Cause
Yes,
this is quite.
yes, sorry,
this
yes.
is just quite important.
Yeah.
Yes.
So again, it's not the end of the podcast,
No.
but episode 52 will be the last regularly
Episode, yeah.
scheduled episode.
Yeah.
So every Friday will no longer be a thing.
No.
We might do
we'll
one once a month, once every 3 months.
Whenever
We don't know.
topic comes
Whenever
up. that
3
we wanna
months.
talk
That's a
about.
long time.
Whenever we feel like it. Okay.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
a,
Let's just
we make the
yeah.
rules.
We
I am
make
the
the-
captain now.
Yeah, no. So again, we do really enjoy doing this. But we will keep the Facebook page in particular quite active, I think. Something that we've all
Yeah.
tried to do over the last few weeks, if you've seen it, is sharing a lot more, a lot of posts. And I guess that's been a good thing. And
Yeah.
something, in hindsight, we would have liked to have done from an
Yeah.
earlier stage, because we can hear your thoughts on things a lot quicker and a lot earlier. But
And we may even
right.
transfer that to Instagram a little
And
bit.
we love reading some of your comments as well. It is
Oh, we
great.
love
I actually enjoy it.
I really, really like
So
it.
some real point of views. Some.
Yeah.
but that's what
Yeah,
we,
nice. Good.
but that's what we.
Oh, I got to finish the way I started.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
With the whole jackpot, I got to say something else stupid.
Well, it's next
Yeah.
week, mate. It's
Yeah.
next week.
Oh,
You'll,
And again-
you'll find
and
something
again,
stupid to say. You always
Gusman,
do.
it's not the end.
It's not
It's
the
simply the beginning of a new chapter.
Exactly,
CJ. No,
mate.
again, it is exciting. Gives us a bit more flexibility, but
Yeah.
of course, that means our episodes will be bigger, better than ever before. Something we're looking forward to. But of course,
Yes.
speaking of our social medias, feel free to catch us on Facebook. Podcast name, answer it in the search bar. Click the one with the green logo. It's called Beyond the Sidelines. If you
Should
don't
know
know
it
that
by
by now, if you've watched, I'm guessing we've clocked it about just over an hour. If you've watched an hour of a podcast and you don't know the name of it, good on you. Like, that's impressive,
That's
Gusman.
respect. That
Like,
is
that's
respect.
fair play. And on Instagram, it's slightly tricky, but we back you. It's at _ Beyond the Sidelines _ That's 2 underscores, one before it, one after it. Feel free to catch us on there. And again, we are going to do a lot more social media stuff over the coming weeks. But again, next week's the big one. Is the big 1 year. We've been talking about this for quite a while. I know Gus is keen. I know CJ's keen. Finn's keen. Speaking about myself in the first person. Let's get it.
Third person.
Damn it. I studied. Damn it. Okay.
You're a
He does
journalist
journalism.
and you don't know past,
Wow.
or you don't know
I
tense.
do. I just got mixed up.
Tensai.
I
I
do.
believe it's Tensai.
Tensai.
I'm not hiring you, mate.
Anyway, faithful. Until next week.